Fight, are you ready?
Combate Global.
Oh, what a punch. What an incredible fight. Can you believe what you just saw? We have a champion.
Welcome into the best of Combate Global here on Fuse TV. I am Max Bretos. There is Alex Wendling. Today we're going to focus on the Combate female divisions. Alex, you are a fighter. It wasn't that long ago. It was hard to get a fight. It was hard to be seen, but that has all changed. Women's MMA is on a rocket ship, in particular here on Combate Global.
Yes, women's MMA is on the rise, rightfully so. The women on the Combate Global roster, from atomweight, strawweight, flyweight, bring the action every time.
It's been a joy to watch. There has been pay parity. We have seen them become household names, as Alex was pointing out. And there is many of them, not just a few anymore. And that includes Melissa Amaya, who is a fighter we're going to see here in a few moments, Alex. She has been sensational. She fights from the same gym that gave us Juliana Peña, and she'll be fighting Mariscal here shortly.
Yes, Melissa Lamamba Amaya, she's an absolute gem, a sweetheart. She's a nurse as well, and she was working full-time. When I asked her, how do you balance all that? She actually told me she had to take a step back, not work full-time, and she had the confidence to do that because of the pay parity, like you mentioned, here at Combate Global.
Melissa Amaya, a irresistible, unbeaten force in Combate Global. Let's relive her fight right now as she took on Mariscal. Let's go to the head-to-head. Mariscal, Melissa Amaya, both just getting started. Significant 4-inch height advantage and 4-inch reach for Amaya.
And Amaya told me that she walks around at 132, so her ideal division is strawweight, but here, as you can tell, she's fighting in the flyweight division.
Looking to build stars on the female ranks in Combate Global, and Melissa Amaya off to a fantastic start at the time of this fight. Already 4-0.
A nice 4-inch height difference she got there too, and a 4-inch reach. It'll be interesting to see how she can use that today.
And I'm sure the corners getting her to use that to her advantage, as Alana Bellis is our referee.
Instructions in the locker room, obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. If you want to touch them up, go ahead, come out, fight. Judge.
Them standing face to face.
Judge.
It looks even bigger than a 4-inch advantage, so a tall hill to climb here for Mariscal. And Alana Bellis having a great time inside the house, as always.
Cracking jokes right before war is about to take place. Now, Alitzel, she is a shorter fighter, but she is stockier. So how can she use that to her advantage here?
Melissa Amaya in blue. She trains with Sick Jitsu in Spokane. Coach Rick Little, Juliana Peña, Mike Chiesa, Misha Tate. So a really accomplished gym, great coaching. And this is USA versus Mexico, our preeminent rivalry.
And Melissa Lamamba Amaya, she's looking to pick her shots carefully here.
The size advantage. And this is 126-pound limit, right? But it looks heavily in favor of Amaya, especially as a stand-up game where she can keep her distance.
And Melissa Amaya, with that nursing background, she says that her strongest asset is her jiu-jitsu, and I feel like whenever you have nurses get into grappling, they always succeed because they understand the body and anatomy and how bones can break and joints can get tweaked. So it'll be interesting to see if she uses some of that jiu-jitsu today. She has an underhook against the cage. Alitza Mariscal feeling the wrath of Melissa Lamamba Amaya's strength right here.
Underneath that arm there is Amaya, now delivering some knees to Mariscal. Trains with Mad Dogs. Her boyfriend, Periquito Madrigal, has seen some action on the Combate cards.
Nice shots to the body. She did have both underhooks at one point. Now she's giving that up to take some body shots.
More knees. This has been a barrage. What you do in the clinch, I imagine, Alex, set the tempo, kind of give you a blueprint on how you can approach this fight.
Yeah, and you really feel your opponent's strength when you're in the clinch. But when they give you that inch of space, if you're able to capitalize off of a strong knee, an elbow, those are some of the most damaging strikes that people don't like to feel. So sometimes you feel safe in the clinch, and then as soon as you give a little bit of space, that's when you're regretting it.
Well, Amaya beaming with confidence in the sense that she can get in the clinch because she is the leaner, taller fighter with the longer reach, but she's all right getting in there too with Alitzel Mariscal.
And Alitzel Mariscal on the back foot a bit. She's not really showing the athleticism that she does have because she was an athlete growing up as a child, playing sports from basketball to many different sports that she was playing, soccer. And now she's switching it to combat sports. And I think that's what happens a lot to people who are athletes as a child.
Just a good athlete, and
they want to keep it going into adulthood.
Why not?
And why not test yourself in a solo sport? There's no one to blame, no teammates to say, oh, he didn't catch this pass, or oh, she missed the basket. It's just you versus your opponent.
Max Bretos and Alex Wendling here. Did you play other sports?
I played a lot of basketball and jiu-jitsu.
Did it help? Did the basketball help you with jiu-jitsu and combat sports?
I definitely would say the physicality of basketball and being a smaller athlete, seeing how that could translate into the cage would definitely be helpful.
I think you hear that a lot more of fighters. They have to have a balanced portfolio inside the jaula.
And then you get people like Julian Robertson, who didn't play any sports, but they just, gravitate towards something like jiu-jitsu because it doesn't really take a whole lot of athleticism to get good at jiu-jitsu. It's just nice flurry from Melissa Amaya. It takes a lot of technique and obsession.
Yeah, sometimes with the jiu-jitsu practitioners, you may see them on the street and go, oh yeah, that guy or that girl, I could take. No, be careful.
Yeah.
Don't pick fights if you're on the street. That's my advice to you.
But when it comes to striking, that's where you see more of the athleticism really, really playing a part. And that's why Melissa Amaya is, she doesn't identify as a striker, but she still has a lot of success in these exchanges. And her timing is really, it feels natural. She doesn't have to really overthink it. It just feels like a flow state for her.
40 seconds to go in this first round. She has to be a striker here because she has that edge and reach and height. But now she gets inside under the arms there of Mariscal.
Yeah, switching from that high crotch to the body lock, really putting all of her pressure against Alitzel. And then to a modified Haragoshi, she has to scramble for this to get the side control position. Now stuck in Alitzel's half guard, but not a very technical half guard from Alitzel we're seeing here. She could go
clear the guard. Trying.
We got the 10-second clacker.
Yeah,
we'll see if Melissa will be able to get any ground and pound to finish out the first.
Almost to the mouth, but she's not going to have enough time. Fantastic first round. Much more from the best of Combate after this. We are back taking a look at what happened in the first round. Melissa Amaya in blue. Very impressive.
It's really fascinating to watch her get in and out. Even just the subtle movements, the head movements that keep her out of danger. It's beautiful to watch from La Mamba.
Alitzel Mariscal looking to counter, although Amaya was comprehensive. Didn't really give her a chance to breathe. We saw a couple times with some kicks. Just not enough of it. Dominating first round for Amaya.
And Alitzel really showing out when it comes to the overhand rights, but she's going to have to do more than the haymakers to get past Melissa's quick reactions.
Ready for round number two. Again, two themes that we develop here on Combate Global. The female divisions, which have been sensational, so much talent coming out of it. The national pride, this is USA versus Mexico, and we've mentioned in the past shows, you give these athletes a chance to represent their country, they take it to another level because this is a very individual sport. You're fighting for yourself, and all of a sudden you get this opportunity to drape a flag around your shoulders, and you're fighting for a lot more than just you.
Yeah, Melissa La Mamba Amaya, she represents America here, but she does speak Spanish. She has parents that are from Mexico as well, and she grew up close to Mexico, right on the border near El Paso, Texas. Now she lives in Spokane, Washington, and as you mentioned, trains with Sick Jitsu and Juliana Pena. So she's been all over the place, but she does have deep roots with the Mexican culture as well. And now still being the come-forward fighter against Alitzel. Fascinating to see Melissa get the first round pretty decidingly.
Yeah, nothing surprising there. She was just the better fighter, active across the board. much more damage. Low blowout. Mariscal will a little wardrobe shift,
fight.
ready to go.
And Alitzel looking like she just needs a little bit of higher output, but I think after she tasted a few of those hard punches, she's a little hesitant to get into the pocket with La Mamba. And wow, the combinations are flowing, and Melissa La Mamba Amaya just had to eat her first significant strike of the fight.
That changes things a little bit. Now Mariscal able to take the center of the jaula. Melissa Amaya, all her professional fights under the Combate banner, has been helped develop by this promotion and finding new levels, getting better, getting great coaching, as we mentioned, up in Spokane.
And she's an undefeated fighter who started fighting just because one of her friends invited her to a kickboxing class. And she started to get a liking to it, and all of a sudden she realizes she's actually pretty good at this. Hey, maybe I should take a professional fight. Now her career currently 6-0, undefeated fighter. What a story.
All stand up. A couple takedown attempts by Amaya, but I think she feels comfortable in this. We've seen that huge reach and height advantage. I think it's more than 4 inches. It certainly feels that way. Big kick.
And Alitzel, being the shorter fighter, she really has to break down La Mamba, going to the body, making her, wince or get down to her level is something that's going to be key for landing for Alitzel Mariscal. But she is mixing in some uppercuts. I like it. Just needs to close in the distance a little bit more.
So many good fighters coming from that Washington State area. We mentioned Juliana Pena, Jillian Knowles, an up-and-coming fighter as well.
And Melissa really just having a high output, high volume all fight. And she is training with DL training systems that keeps her in the most tip-top shape. I see some of their stuff that they post on Instagram, the type of workouts that they do to really assimilate what it is like to fight. Because, we've learned so much at this point in MMA. People aren't just going on 3-mile runs. A great takedown, feinted to get there.
That was a beautiful feint, and Mariscal took the bait, and now she takes the back.
Immediately to the back, a little too high to fly.
Too high to fly.
She's off the back, but able to maneuver. Again, the dexterity of those legs in that exchange. Trying to get to the back again of Alitzel.
Digs in those hooks, but now has to slip away, and Mariscal gets the high ground. We mentioned how Amaya's been working on her strength and conditioning. Do you see that? I mean, I think we definitely see it. How much of it do you see that she's been working on since the beginning?
I see it 100%, especially against Alitzel, who it looks like she's out hustling in positions. Any type of scramble that there's been, any type of hustle for this position, Melissa has been the one to get there first, and now she's hustling for this armbar. We'll see if she'll be able to get it with only 17 seconds left in the second round.
Maybe some kind of armbar, but again, it won't. The clock will beat her to it, and
shoots up a triangle at the very last second.
Great footwork.
Gets the arm across. Will she have enough time to finish it? And she doesn't.
Another dominating round for Amaya. Good news for Mariscal. She'll see a third round, but she's not feeling it. The hands go on the hip. He knows that this hasn't been a good matchup.
Yeah, you definitely see it in her physicality and her energy that she's not performing the way that she wants to. And Melissa's also just having a great night. Really picking apart Alitzel's game, and Alitzel not able to land much except for that one hit. That one really landed. It snapped Melissa La Mamba Amaya's neck back.
Now the question is, can you get more of that? We'll see. Round 3. Welcome back to the Best of Combate Global. We are focusing on our Combate female divisions. And it is the night of Melissa Amaya, looking to put the final touches here, round 3 against Alitzel Mariscal. Amaya in blue.
A dominant showing so far from Melissa. Getting the judges' scorecards to go her way. Almost a submission at the end of round 2 there. And now she's taking the center of La Jaula, walking down her opponent, Alitzel Mariscal. Nice overhand right. Didn't find the target, but at least she's throwing him more.
Again, this is 125 pounds, and Melissa Amaya is a name and a face to remember for 2024. She's going to get better opponents, all due respect to Alitzel Mariscal. But this is overwhelming, as she's won both rounds. I mean, there could be a variety of opponents on the horizon for her. So many good fights to make. I wish I was a matchmaker. I don't. Sometimes I do. It'd be fun, but I'd be terrible at it.
Luckily, we have some of the greatest matchmakers. Arafat in the building, Tony. They got some great matchups coming up for Melissa Amaya. Coming in 2024, a textbook butterfly sweep straight into the guard. She's holding on to that overhook, seeing what she can work from there. Her jiu-jitsu is very, very beautiful, very technical, and very smooth. Like everything that she does, she's not really doing it with a lot of aggression. Everything in her face, she's not clinching up, looking for some type of submission. She's just calmly navigating her way to break your bones or choke your carotid arteries.
Matchmaking will be another great conversation. Maybe we'll have a show here on Fuse TV in the not-too-distant future. We're thrilled that you can join us here. Soak it all in. Some great fights coming your way in 2024 live on Fuse TV. Combate Global, happy to be with their new broadcast partners. And you'll probably see Melissa Amaya sooner than later.
And she's hunting for a triangle choke here. After 2 knee surgeries, her willingness to put her knees into these compromising positions is so impressive to me. As someone with very stiff knees, this is,
You need the knees, right?
Yeah, I've never had to have surgery on my knees, but she's had to have them on both. So the resilience and the determination to get back in the fight circus after something like that is tremendous.
Halfway through this final round, Alitzel Mariscal, she's taking some big elbows, but at least she's into the guard of Amaya. And this is somewhere where she can take away the height and reach advantage. But I love the activity of Amaya. She'll find work anywhere.
Yep, and La Mamba Amaya using those elbows to get Alitzel to make the mistake of going head and arm in. Now getting ready to square off on that triangle.
Working it nice. The triangle's dug in there. Mariscal with a big decision to make, but she is between a rock and a hard place.
Yes, and if she wants to get the
Giving
choke,
up the arm.
she's going to have to move the arm to the other side, but she might be willing to just go for the arm instead.
Amaya so cool and calm in these situations, but she tapped out. That arm went straight, and Mariscal felt the pain threshold crossed. It's over.
Armbar from the triangle position. Melissa La Mamba Amaya gets it done. Very impressive win in the 3rd round. That's got to feel pretty special after a war.
Fantastic. That will make her 5-0. In fact, she ended 2023 6-0 for the official decision. Let's go to Lupe.
El tiempo oficial, 3 minutos 12 segundos del tercer episodio, the official time. 3 minutes 12 seconds of round number 3. Your winner, by way of submission, la ganadora por sumisión, La Mamba, Melissa Amaya.
One of my favorite aspects of Combate, Alex, is you get to represent your country. We're going to see that here. Jourand of France taking on Irene Cabello of Spain.
Yes, the country pride here really lived out, and man, it was one of the best fights of the year.
You can hear us talk about it, but why don't you watch it for yourself? Jourand, Cabello. And let's take a look at the head-to-head tail of the tape. It's a catch weight here between Irene Cabello and Jade Jourand. Not much separating, but that 3-inch reach will be handy for Jade.
Definitely. And Irene Cabello training with Alexa Grasso over there in Lobo Gym in Guadalajara. She is definitely a threat, but the striking ability of Jade Jourand is impressive.
Ya está todo listo para el evento coestelar de esta noche. Everything is ready for the co-main event of the evening. Es un compromiso pautado a 3 asaltos de 5 minutos en un peso pactado a las 110 libras. This is an event set for 3 rounds of 5 minutes in a catch weight of 110 pounds. Los jueces son, the judges are James Lazaro, Richard Green Jr. Damas y caballeros, el momento ha llegado. The time is here para un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, introducing the blue corner. Sube con un récord de 9 victorias, 6 derrotas. She steps up with a record of 9 victories, 6 losses. Vistiendo todo de negro, wearing all black. Registró un peso oficial de 111.4 libras. Es de Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, vía Barcelona, España, Irene Cabello Rivera. Y su oponente en la esquina roja, her opponent in the red corner. Sube con un récord de 2 victorias, 2 derrotas. She steps in with a record of 2 victories and 2 defeats. Vistiendo color blanco, wearing white. Registró un peso oficial de 111.4 libras. She registered an official weight of 111.4 pounds. Es de Bordeaux, France, Jourand. El referee Christopher Mignocchi.
Bring it in. All right, ladies, I want a good, clean fight, please. Quiero una pelea limpia, por favor. If you want to touch gloves, go ahead and do it now. Si quiere tocar los guantes. Buena suerte a los dos. Good luck.
We talked about representing your country, and this draws in a lot of non-MMA fans who can become MMA fans. You know, I love soccer. If you tell me France plays Spain, I'm in any sport. And I love MMA, but this is certainly going to draw it in as well as Jourand in white takes on Irene Cabello.
And this was the main event that started off the 2023 season, and it set the bar high of fight of the year. When you look at these two girls, you can tell right off the bat they could be models. You go to their Instagram, they definitely are gorgeous human beings. And then they're just have the fighting spirit that you wouldn't imagine such a pretty face would have. But Jourand versus Irene Cabello, they're both trying to take each other's heads off here. And Irene has not fought since 2019. So you're going to look to see her kind of shake off that ring rust, if you're one to believe in ring rust.
And pocket-sized power, Jourand at 5'4", Cabello at 5'6".
And very brave for Irene to be trying to stand up on the feet with Jourand, who has 82 kickboxing matches.
Oh, wow. Jourand is decorated in combat sports. You mentioned the kickboxing world championships, European Muay Thai champion, on the French Muay Thai national team, won a K1 championship. It goes on and on. Now she wants to bring it all together in MMA, which is different and difficult, but she feels she has a very good foundation.
And you might look at her 2-2 record and think, oh, that's not that great of a record. The losses came from submissions and a decision. So
that's where you got to find, as a striker, you got to
be able to get her to the ground. It was Gloria Bravo who was able to submit her with an armbar.
Sharp hit. You can hear it from Jourand.
And the speed of Jourand, are we watching this on fast motion? Did someone actually accidentally hit like double play? Because Jourand is so speedy, it looks unreal.
And I think Cabello felt that too and said, let's close the gap here. La Niña Cabello.
And La Niña trying to make the most of that overhook that she has here. And she does have the height advantage, so we'll see if she's able to utilize it against Jourand. But at distance, it looked like it was no advantage, and here she pulls guard. The safe thing to do, but it doesn't get Jade to the ground.
La Niña versus the Princess.
Yes.
Jourand, this is a fight that really saw, it was her second fight in Combate Global, and she's continued to build off of that in 2023.
And Jade has been working on her wall work. It's definitely not the most ideal place she wants to be, but she can work in those Muay Thai striking points. Where she really doesn't want to be is on her back.
So far, so good. Cabello's doing everything she can to put her on the ground. I mean, she knows. We just talked about it. She's got all this striking prowess. She's world-class in that department. Where she's struggled is on the ground. That's where she's tasted defeat.
Yeah, and she attempted to jump guard, but I'd love to see a takedown attempt here. And again, a guard pull straight into half guard or quarter guard, as you see.
And it's Jourand, surprisingly, on the high ground, on the ground, trying to clear the guard of a stretched out Irene Cabello.
And now, Jourand looking to pass the half guard of Irene. Irene with one underhook. A lot she could do from there, but if she really wants to get Jade off of her, she's going to have to get her elbows in tight and do some type of kipping his face, but the ground and pound from Jade Jourand, so much fury packed behind those punches.
A little separation here, those hammer fists. She's going to get a warning.
Chris McNally separating it.
It's a low blow, and that goes as a knee
Down,
to a grounded opponent. Yeah. And just to make that clear, it's like you can throw elbows and the knees. You can't when your opponent has at least one arm on the ground there, and both her knees.
Same with kicks. So sometimes in the heat of the moment, people are just going for it. Jade said she was sorry, and now they're back to action.
I think it's interesting because a lot of people feel like there's no rules. There are rules. They're very specific rules, and they have been vetted over the years to make sure that you're protecting the fighters while you don't want to give them too many limitations. That one's an important one.
And also protecting the entertainment of the viewers. If things get too stalled out, the referees are advised to stop it and get things back to action. So we're all about mucha más acción here at Combate Global, and we're seeing that right now on the feet between these two warriors.
Also a reminder about the size of the house, a little smaller than usual, so you get those fighters in closer quarters.
Jourand Cabello, we're starting to visibly see some blood drip down from her nose. Jade Jourand, the princess, able to find the target many times, in and out. It's really a beautiful thing to watch the way she works. Very bouncy style, too. It's fun.
Yeah, Cabello trying to get that jab going. The great tradition, the growing tradition of Spanish MMA on the men and women's side. Cabello trying to be part of that.
And Jourand coming off of a 3-year layoff, taking a fight against someone like Jade Jourand, that's really admirable in itself. Because if you've seen her highlights, you know she's no slouch.
Very active from Jourand. Cabello felt it, closed the gap. Not the first time.
Are you ready? Fight!
And we are back round number 2 between Jade Jourand in white and Jourand Cabello. This is the best of Combate Global, Combate Female, as we are showing you the best of an incredible group of divisions in the female ranks here in Combate Global.
I remember watching this fight from a steakhouse. I was at a steakhouse by myself watching it, and I really began to lose it after seeing the energy that Jade Jourand cultivated throughout the rounds. You would think someone looks as fresh as they do in the first round. No, she gets even more fresh throughout this fight.
Alex Wendling, everybody. I'm Max Pretos. What is your go-to steak at the steakhouse?
I got to do a ribeye medium rare.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. We're going to get along famous.
And I was enjoying a glass of red wine watching this. Had to do it in honor. You know, I felt like I was in France watching Jade Jourand go to town on Jourand, who is putting up a fight in itself too. But man, eating that jab.
2 countries that'll get you a good steak and wine, by the way, France and Spain.
Yes.
As the first round, all 3 judges going in favor of Jade Jourand. I think we're okay with that. Or it's surprising?
Yes, no, that's definitely the way it should go, but I was just wowing at the audible noise you can hear from Jade Jourand landing. She really packs a lot of power in her punch, but it's the snap. The way she just snaps back on it is what throws her opponent's heads back.
You can see she's a natural-born striker. Great movement, and it gets so much power behind that frame. It's not a big frame. Spinning back fist by Cabello. Gets the crowd into it, and I think it'll get Cabello going too. Something different.
And it's definitely at the point of the fight where Cabello is going to have to start mixing things up, start throwing some of those unorthodox strikes. Because the bread and butter for Jade Jourand right now is her 1-2 strikes and the combinations going to the body. Something that her dad has been training her to do since she was little. Her dad that's always in her corner. Her dad has been training her since she was a very, very small girl. And she's still a small girl, just a small adult.
But you can imagine she's like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, just there with dad training, and dad's still going, I know, she must weigh like 70, 80 pounds soaking wet. You're going to be fine. And here she is on the big stage. The clinch in place there by Cabello, who is training in Guadalajara with Lobo Gym, with Alexa Grasso, who is one of the biggest names in women's MMA, period.
What a training partner to have, too.
Oh. It's been a minute since she had competed. Your gap between fights, which is not out of the ordinary. You'll see that sometimes.
We can see Jade Jourand almost looking for a hip toss there. She didn't get it. She's making the most of the overhook.
By the way, just curious, 2 fights a year about right, or would you prefer to 3?
I know a lot of strikers would like to even get 3 or 4. MMA, 4 is a lot.
Yeah, we had one fighter, Ivan Choco Castillo. I think he had 5 one year. He just loved it. I'm in.
Joko's next level for sure.
Joko
I think for
Castillo
the
next
majority of the girls on the roster, I think the most have been 3 in a year. K-Rock, I think, did 3 this past year.
That's a lot. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to do for those camps, I mean, this is a tough living.
Especially if you're in a fight like this where there's damage on both sides and going the distance. It's not like a quick submission or, you get a quick knockout and you walk out unscathed. These two are both taking some damage and they're going to be feeling it no matter what. Beautiful combinations, back and forth. Jay Jourand.
Not defending herself. Cabello had to get back in the clinch. She took several combinations.
The princess. She is the princess of striking for a reason. And she's used to the bright lights. She has one of the most viral kickboxing knockouts in the world. And she is a star on the rise for sure. Very marketable, the princess, taking on a former UFC vet in Irene Cabello, and really showing what Combate Global is all about.
And that's things that Combate is looking for, the marketability, which is up to the fighters a lot of the times. You've got to create that. You've got to get your social media going. You've got to prove that you are the total package.
Yeah, 100%.
It means dollars. It really does. Everything that you do. Create rivalries across the board, and that falls in the fighter's lap, because if they don't do it, no one will really do it for them.
And these two were definitely chosen as the main event of the first card of 2023 for a reason. And they're showing it, proving it this night.
Jay Jourand really on the ascension as we get to the final 10 seconds here of round number 2.
Ooh, these knees are going to start getting vicious. This is when I started going crazy.
Onto the flesh.
Look at her go. Those elbows in tight.
Grandstand finish. Jay
She is
Jourand.
feisty. Wow.
Pride of Bordeaux, Nouvelle-Aquitaine, France.
And Irene Cabello really starting to wear that damage.
That was at times hard to watch. She took some abuse from a lot of different angles, punches, kicks, knees.
I truly can't even imagine what part of her body is hurting the most right now. There's a lot going on for her.
How's your French?
Not very good.
I can't help you on that either.
And here we see Jay Jourand start to unload that combination. Ooh, really sending Irene back.
Yep. Well, we got 2 rounds in the books. We'll be back for round number 3 inside the Jaula, the best of Combate Global. Welcome back, best of Combate Global. We pick up round 3 already in progress. Jay Jourand has won the first 2 rounds, looking to finish. Would love to finish this fight, but Irene Cabello proving to be a very hard out.
Yes, Irene doing a good job circling out and now looking for that body lock takedown. Has her up against the fence. She hasn't had so much success with the takedown. She's pulled guard twice, and now she's looking to make the most of this body lock. Great head positioning. And the blood is really starting to come from Irene's nose, a little bit from the eye. Just a whole lot of damage on the face of Cabello.
Hands here while we're seeing Jay Jourand is getting a little blood on the left brow. She is in white.
Nice hook on the break. Irene.
They're already in pursuit. But Jourand, part of this growing French MMA scene. We've seen a variety of promotions that you just know is going to continue to grow, because we know in France they like to fight. They like to throw. Going back to the old days of Sheikh Congo, we saw Francis Ngannou, and some of the good fighters have come here in Combate as well, including Jourand.
Yeah, when it comes to French representation in the fight game, Jay Jourand is definitely on the top of the list, man or woman. Especially with a showing like this, we cannot wait to see her back in action in 2024. But starting off 2023 with a fight like this really set the tone for all the action we saw in 2023.
We saw Claire Lopez also in Combate in some fights. The French flag.
And Irene just really starting to look stunned here. The flurry of punches and combinations that Jade is throwing is so overwhelming. The only thing Irene can really do at that point is just zombie forward and hope that she can get her to the fence.
Zombie forward.
Yes.
Explain.
Just hands out, trying to get a body lock, get her up against the cage, and close the distance that Jade Jourand is capitalizing on.
Exactly how you would describe it. Jade Jourand got a 10-8 round there from one of the judges. But look at the blood. That's coming from Cabello, and it is flowing.
Now, this fight went completely viral on TikTok, but I did have to edit out a lot of the blood because they're very sensitive to what will trigger that. And it was getting very bloody for Irene, a true warrior, still able to fight through what she sees, because a lot of people would see that type of blood and maybe get a little freaked out, maybe just call it quits, but no, she's in it till the end.
The TikTok crowd, they love blood. What can I say?
They do love blood, but TikTok itself doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
They block that really
block
quick.
that. But I mean, it's just
It's the nature of the game,
yeah, and you see that, it tells you these fighters have given it their all, and they fight through it.
Takedown attempt to the guard pull. Now we're going to get to see the flexibility. A quick rubber guard game from Irene here. And this is something we wish to see earlier from her. Look at the dexterity of those hits. That's not an easy position to get through. And this is the same choke that Jade has seen many times that's gotten her before.
And for Cabello, all that blood now going internal as nowhere else to go with her back to the howler.
It's definitely hard to breathe when that is your nose situation. But Jade Jourand basically just trying to posture up. Great work here and great ground and pound. Now with less than a minute left.
Almost some side control.
Yeah, she's looking to pass that guard. But how crazy would it be if Irene could get a submission after being completely outclassed on the feet and finishing with a submission against Jade Jourand?
You look, Cabello's got a tattoo of brass knuckles on her foot.
She's a savage.
That is a savage. And she's, you talked about her potential modeling career. She may not be getting it after this fight, and she's bruised up and bloodied. And she doesn't care.
She is a bad fighter. I love it. Bad to the bone.
She's bad, but Jade Jourand is another level. And she is looking clean. 10 seconds to go.
They're going to let the gun swinging happen right here. The knees in the finals exchange.
And we'll be back for the official decision. What a fight.
Después de 3 asaltos, de mucha más acción, after 3 rounds of mucha más acción, the judges are all in agreement. Los jueces están todos de acuerdo para la ganadora por decisión unánime, for the winner by unanimous decision, Jade Jourand.
How about that smile? Campbell McLaren's there. She's a star, and like outside the blood on her top and the sweat, looks like she really didn't get much of a fight.
Yeah, she is so animated. She is fun to watch, and she's a great sport too, man. She just put it down on Irene, and now Campbell McLaren congratulating his big star.
The princess, Jade Jourand, who went from 2022 to 2023 with 4 straight victories, and this was crisp. As you said, it went viral. This is why.
Yes, those short elbows are vicious from her. And when you get into the lighter divisions, you know that these girls are very bony and they will really, lay it on you if you let them with those elbows. And Irene was on the wrong side of that this time, but man, did she show some heart.
Yeah, a little love for the house band, too, outside the howler there. Getting their jam on. And look at the smile and the big scream as she lifts the French flag and is victorious. There are the stats. Victory for Jade Jourand, who finishing now on a 4-fight winning streak. What a fight, and what a tremendous win for Jade Jourand, and a great win for France. You see, it's a 2-for-1. That's how we do things here at Combate. And Alex, I know you had a chance to talk to Jade after the fight. What did she tell you about this?
Jade Jourand has absolute dynamites in her hand, and she was able to get it done against Irene. When I talked to her, she said that this was the fight she was most proud of because a lot of people were counting her out, especially with the height discrepancy.
Don't count her out moving forward. And we have a very exciting event coming your way next week, live on Fuse TV. It is our extravaganza female card. And I want to just point out that Combate has been pushing the female fighters from as far back as 2019, getting to work on the Combate Reinas. So this is something they've done, and they've done it well. You're a female fighter. Why is this so important to you?
This is so important because we need to give women the platform they deserve. We see their highlights go viral on TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, but we need to give them that broadcast opportunity on the best platform we could possibly do it, Fuse TV. So coming on June 8th is going to be a big day for all the female fighters, and to make everyone proud, the country pride that they bring in as well, is going to be a special event.
It is truly amazing, and I know many of you have tuned in, but it's something that you'll tune in and you'll see it once and you'll want to see it again. We'll see a lot of these fighters, Melissa Amaya certainly amongst them, that have a lot to protect. We have showcased so many of them on these shows the last few weeks and months, but they have now reached stardom, and they got a big target on their back. They got to be careful because there's more great female fighters looking to knock them off their perch.
Yeah, when we look at the #1 ranked flyweight Mariscal Sanchez, she was looking to call out Melissa Amaya, but Melissa Amaya is actually a strawweight. She was just taking flyweight fights because she couldn't get any other offers. So now she is fully in the strawweight division, looking to make the most of that division. And then of course we have the Lolobas, the Maritza Sanchez's, and the Kayla Roccos. So there is a stacked division no matter where you go, and mucho más acción all 2024.
And we'll see, because look, the weight classes at 105, 115, 125, even 135. There's flexibility. There's a fight to be had. These ladies will drop. They will put on the weight to fight, to get the very best fight, because they want to be in those main events.
Yeah, and they want to make their name. They want to make their name known no matter what. If you get a fight against Loloba, people will remember your name. And if you say yes to a fighter that isn't perhaps the best matchup for you, if you throw all that and throw caution to the wind, people will have respect for you. And that is what the women of Combate Global are looking to do all season long.
And that's where they're going to do it. La Jaula. Truly a spectacle. We can't wait for June the 8th. Can't wait for all the cards. We're thrilled to have you on board on Fuse TV. That is all the time we have for this week. On behalf of Alex Wendling, I am Max Bretos. Thanks for joining us on the very best of Combate Global.